probably the biggest aspect of disbelief you have to suspend is the idea that as the wicked witch here, as the evil stepmother, is somehow less good looking than Rachel Zegler.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
What if a fairy tale that built an empire turned into a nightmare that tore it apart? Disney's live-action Snow White, released March 21, 2025, was supposed to be a glittering revival of Walt's first princess. Instead, it's a $270 million wreck, complete with a box office belly flop, vicious fan backlash, and two leading ladies who can't stand each other. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, once hyped as a dream team, are now the faces of a Hollywood disaster so wild it's eclipsed the film itself. Was this a clash of egos too big to contain, or did Disney fumble its own magic wand? Grab a seat, this tale's got more twists than a poisoned apple, and we're diving straight into the chaos.
Come on, gang. We ain't blind.
Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
Picture June 22, 2021, Disney drops a bombshell that's about to set the internet ablaze. Rachel Zegler, a 20-year-old nobody-turned-star from West Side Story, lands the role of Snow White in their live-action remake. She's got a voice that could melt glaciers, a Golden Globe win under her belt, and the Colombian American heritage Disney's eager to flaunt. A fresh take on a timeless princess, their press release crows, hyping her as the perfect blend of talent and diversity. On paper, it's a slam dunk. A Latina lead for a new generation, a nod to the 21 million Spanish-speaking kids in the US who've never seen themselves in a Disney crown. But the fairy tale's about to get a rude awakening because not everyone's clapping.
The first problem is that she's the evil queen. The evil queen is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty, and that is just not believable. Even in a movie with magical mirrors and dwarves and all that, that strains my ability to suspend disbelief.
The announcement barely hits X before the trolls pounce. Snow White's skin is white as snow. Zegler's brown, one viral post screeches, racking up 50,000 likes in hours. The 1812 Brothers Grimm tale gets weaponized. Purists dig up every line, claiming her casting erases the story's roots. A petition on Change X pops up overnight, recast Snow White to respect the original, and surges past 10,000 signatures by week's end. It's not just online noise, things turn ugly fast. Zegler is spotted leaving her Clifton, New Jersey apartment, and a dozen hecklers are waiting, shouting slurs like, "Go back to where you came from." She's shaken. One neighbor tells TMZ she stopped walking her dog for weeks after. This isn't a debate anymore, it's a war zone, and she's the target.
Disney's Snow White was essentially a box office dud. Early estimates suggested that they would take in 48 to 58 million in the first weekend. Apparently, it did 43 million in its first weekend.
Zegler doesn't back down. She's got fire. Yes, I'm Latina and I'm proud, she fires off on Instagram Live, eyes blazing. This is for every little girl who looks like me and never thought she could be a princess. Her fans rally. Rachel is Snow White trends, with supporters flooding her mentions. Representation matters. Disney doubles down too, leaking a script tweak to Variety. Snow White's name now ties to surviving a brutal snowstorm as a kid, not her complexion. It's a modern origin story, a source brags, dodging the race row entirely. Clever, right? Except the haters aren't buying it. A cop-out, one ex-user rants, calling it pandering nonsense. The fix keeps the casting alive, but the venom keeps flowing. Some even boycott Disney Plus over it, swearing off Mickey for good.
And $70 million. Obviously, it was going to win the box office. It's the biggest movie at the box office this weekend. But, for example, Disney's Cinderella, which for my money is still the only good live-action Disney remake.
It's not just random bigots either. Some heavy hitters weigh in. British actor Lawrence Fox, known for stirring pots, tweets, "Disney's lost the plot. Snow White's not a diversity quota." It's retweeted 20,000 times, amplifying the mess. Meanwhile, Zegler's past resurfaces. Clips from 2019 show her singing "Whistle While You Work" at a school talent show, proving she's loved the tale forever. Her team pushes it hard. She's a lifelong fan, but the mob doesn't care. They smell blood. A YouTube channel, Fairy Tale Truthers, drops a 15-minute rant titled "Why Zegler's Snow White Betrays Walt," hitting 500,000 views in days. The backlash isn't slowing. It's snowballing, and production hasn't even started. Disney's sweating now because this isn't just noise, it's a 5-alarm fire.
It's going to be a gigantic box office failure. But the trend that you're noticing is that the worst performing of the Disney movies in terms of live action remakes are basically everything in the last 5 years.
Then there's the flip side, the defenders, who see gold in the chaos. Time runs apiece. Rachel Zegler's casting is a win for a new Disney era, praising her grit. Latina influencers like LaJuan James jump in, "My daughter deserves this, Snow White," and rack up millions of likes on TikTok. A viral video of a 6-year-old Colombian girl in a Snow White dress beaming at Zegler's photo tugs heartstrings across X. It's a glimmer of hope, but it's drowned out by the roar. Disney's PR team scrambles, booking Zegler on Good Morning America to charm the doubters. She nails it. "I'm here to tell a story that matters," but the clip gets ratioed online, buried under comments like woke white. By late 2021, the battle lines are drawn: haters versus heroes, tradition versus progress. This casting's not just a choice, it's a spark that's lit, a fuse stretching 4 years long, and the explosion's still brewing.
And that is a combination of wokeness and the pandemic. And now you better have a good reason to get people to the theaters, and this ain't it.
It's September 10th, 2022, and Disney's D23 Expo is buzzing. Thousands of fans packed into Anaheim's convention center, ready to worship at the altar of the mouse. Rachel Zegler steps onto the stage, all smiles. Her Snow White gig now a year old and cameras rolling. She's there to sell the remake, to charm the diehards who've been humming hee-ho since diapers. Instead, she lights a match and tosses it into a pile of dynamite. The original Snow White? It's weird, she says, leaning into the mic with a smirk. The prince is basically a stalker, right? She's not waiting around for some guy to save her in this one. She's a leader now, charting her own path. The crowd claps, a little uncertain, but the internet, it's about to lose its DMI mind.
The movie apparently is not very good. I haven't seen it yet. I would be shocked if it were. Again, the star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
By morning, her words are everywhere. A shaky fan video of the panel hits TikTok, 10 million views in 48 hours. X catches fire, Not My Snow White trends globally with posts like "She just shit on Walt's grave," racking up 30,000 likes. The 1937 classic isn't just a movie to these people. It's sacred, the first feature-length cartoon ever, the one that made Disney a name.
Studios really need to go back to what they originally did, which was tell your stars to shut up and not say things, because no one is paying to hear your star say offensive things off the screen.
Zegler's take? To them, it's blasphemy. The prince isn't a stalker, he's her savior, one X rant screams. While a YouTube reactor, Disney Purist 88, drops a 20-minute breakdown titled "Rachel Zegler Hates Snow White, Here's Proof," hitting 1 million views in a week. The backlash isn't just loud, it's personal. Fans dig up her old tweets, twisting her love for musicals into hypocrisy ammo. She's not selling a reboot, she's torturing a legacy, and they're out for blood.
I wanted to talk to you because you might be as happy as I am at the failure of Snow White.
Zegler doesn't see it coming, or maybe she does and doesn't care. Days later, she doubles down in a Variety interview. "I get it, change is scary," she says, sipping coffee like it's no big deal. But this isn't 1937. Girls need to see a Snow White who fights for herself. Her team's ecstatic. Insiders tell The Hollywood Reporter she's unapologetic, a voice for Gen Z. Her fans eat it up. Rachel rules surges with clips of her singing "Someday My Prince Will Come" remixed into a feminist anthem, flooding Instagram. But the other side's bigger, angrier. A petition to fire Rachel Zegler hits 25,000 signatures accusing her of disrespecting Walt's vision. Conservative pundits pile on. Ben Shapiro tweets, "Disney's princesses are woke punching bags now," sparking a 50,000 retweet storm. It's not just a PR hiccup, it's a full-blown culture war, and she's the lightning rod.
It's been 2 years, and it's been one of many now predictable Disney failures.
Disney's caught flat-footed. Execs thought her leader spin would land. Test audiences in 2021 loved a stronger Snow White per leaked memos. But they didn't bank on this. The next week, Zegler's booked on The Late Late Show to smooth things over. "I adore Snow White," she insists, flashing that megawatt smile. "I grew up singing her songs. This is my love letter to her. It's a solid save, or it would be if the mob cared." The clip gets ratioed on YouTube, 10,000 dislikes to 2,000 likes, buried under comments like "Too late, princess." Her team pivots, pushing old footage of her belting "Whistle While You Work" at 16 to prove her fandom. It's cute, but it's drowning in the noise. The damage is deep. Every trailer drop after this gets flooded with woke white memes. Disney's sweating bullets because this isn't dying down.
And it's more than just a movie at this point, because normally I wouldn't even watch a princess movie, but it became such a punching bag.
The ripple effect's brutal. By early 2023, Snow White's production is a rumor mill. Expos claim crew morale's tanking, with one anonymous grip allegedly leaking, "She's insufferable, lecturing us on empowerment between takes." True or not, it sticks. Fan conventions turned hostile. Zegler's booed at a West Side Story screening, a first for her. Her Instagram comments become a cesspool. "Quit ruining our childhood," forcing her to limit replies. She fires back on stories. "I'm not here to please everyone, just to tell a story that matters." It's bold, but it's gasoline. The woke label's cemented now, and it's not just fans. Industry insiders whisper she's trouble, a risk for future gigs. Disney's stuck with her, $270 million deep, but the fuse she lit at D23 is burning fast. And what's coming next will make this look like a warm-up.
The culture war and a symbol, and Rachel Zegler has become the symbol of everything that's wrong with modern Hollywood right now.
It's November 4th, 2021, and Disney's got another ace up their sleeve. Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman herself, is cast as the evil queen in their Snow White remake. She's 36, a global superstar with a jawline that could cut glass and a resume that screams box office gold, $1,400,000,000 from Wonder Woman alone. Disney's ecstatic, dropping a teaser photo of her in a sleek black gown, smirking like she's already plotting Snow's demise. Gal brings depth and menace to this iconic villain. Their press release gushes, hyping her as the perfect foil to Zegler's fiery princess. On paper, it's a match made in Hollywood heaven. Two powerhouse women, beauty squared off against beauty, ready to light up the screen. But there's a storm brewing, and Gadot stepping right into its eye.
And the audience has spoken. They were, honestly, Glenn, they were telling, every trailer that hit YouTube was getting ratioed into oblivion. And yeah, so Disney was telling you exactly what this movie was going to be.
Fans lose it, in a good way, at first. Gal as the evil queen? Take my money. One X post raves, hitting 40,000 likes overnight. Her Fast and Furious and DC stands flood TikTok with edits. Her smirking over mirror voiceovers, racking up millions of views. She's got the cred. Trained in combat, oozing charisma and that regal vibe from playing Diana Prince, Disney leans in hard, leaking to Deadline that she'll sing too. A sultry twist on poor, unfortunate souls. Is for the queen's big number. It's a flex. Zegler's the vocal prodigy, but God's not here to play backup. Early buzz pegs them as a dream duo, the kind of casting that could carry a $270 million gamble. Except, there's a crack forming, and it's not about talent, it's about everything else.
And the audience was telling them exactly what they thought of it. And now, unsurprisingly, it's flopping.
See, Gab's got baggage. Not the kind you unpack on set, but the kind that lights up X. She's Israeli, served 2 years in the IDF back in 2004, and hasn't shied from it. Think her 2014 Facebook post praising Israel during the Gaza conflict, which still haunts her mentions. "My heart is with my people," she wrote, sparking a firestorm that's never fully died. Cut to Zegler, who's been liking pro-Palestine tweets since 2020, quietly at first, just a heart here, a retweet there. No one clocks it much until Gadot signs on. Then the sleuths get busy. Rachel's woke, Gal's a Zionist. Good luck, Disney, one Expo snarks, hitting 15,000 retweets. Fans start picking sides and the vibe sours fast. Disney's not dumb. They see the fault line, but they bank on star power to bridge it. Big mistake, because the whispers are already starting.
This movie, her reaction, the way they did all of it, I think this is part of the undoing of that era as well.
Production kicks off in March 2022, and the rumor mill spins wild. A blind item on Des Moines drops. Two leading ladies on a fairy tale set can't stand each other. Politics, not egos to blame. No names, but everyone knows. Insiders tell the rap Gadot's all pro, shows up early, nails her scenes, charms the crew with coffee runs. Zegler's the wild card, fiery, outspoken, still riding her D23 high. They're not fighting, at least no one's got footage. But they're not bonding either. Disney keeps them apart off-set, scheduling solo promo hits. Gadot's Elle interview in July 2022 is pure class, my queen's complex torn by envy and power, while Zegler's posting Instagram stories that stink. Some people glow brighter alone, she writes over a selfie, no context. Fans pounce. Is that shade at Gal? Comments explode. Team Gadot, she's a queen, not a brat. The Cold War's on, and it's only getting chillier.
These were movies made with a mindset of identity politics, intersectional feminism, which really goes against what Hollywood had done for hundreds of years, sorry.
Then August 2024 hits. The first trailer drops. Zegler's belting a power ballad, Gadot's cackling through a CGI mirror. It's gorgeous. Until Zegler tweets Free Palestine the same day. No caption, just a flag emoji. X ignites. Gadot's fans call it a dig, pointing to her silence on set tensions. She's poking the bear, one post fumes, while pro-Zegler accounts clap back. Gal's the aggressor. Rachel's just real. Neither star bites. Gadot's team pushes a Vanity Fair profile all about her transformative role, dodging politics entirely. Disney's in panic mode now, splitting their press tour. Zegler hits New York. Gadot takes LA. No joint panels, no red carpet hugs. The trailer's ratioed anyway. 2 million views drowned in woke white hate. 2 stars, 2 worlds. And a film buckling under the weight, but that's just a warm-up. This storm's about to break wide open.
And Hollywood doesn't know how to be good anymore. They are so black-pilled. They are so dystopian. They are so nihilistic at this point that when you see something that's just good, that it disgusts them.
March 21, 2025, the premiere, Disney banked $270 million on this, expecting a $50 million opening weekend. At least they got $43 million. Ouch. Critics sharpened their knives. Rolling Stone called it a soulless cash grab, landing it at 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. The CGI, a mess. Think Uncanny Valley dwarves reimagined as magical creatures after Peter Dinklage slammed the original as offensive. The story, a Frankenstein of girl boss vibes and fairy tale scraps that left audiences confused. Test screenings tanked so bad in 2024 that Disney ordered reshoots during the writer's strike, but the fixes flopped. Fans despised the dwarf redesigns. Ex-posts like "what even are these things" went viral. Even Disney's loyal cheerleaders, the so-called shills, bailed. It's a misfire, Variety sighed. The numbers don't lie. This princess didn't just stumble, she face planted, and the real drama was brewing off screen.
Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
Disney had a plan to salvage some hype, a commentary track for the digital release starring Zegler, Gadot, and Andrew Burnap, the new Prince figure. Picture it, 3 leads, laughing, swapping set stories. Instead, it's a war zone. Insiders say Zegler laid down the law. Gal, no Israel talk, period. She feared it'd spark more boycotts after her own political posts backfired. Gadot snapped back, "No one tells me what I can say." Voices rose, egos clashed. Zegler pushed to hog the mic, obsessing over her song she'd retooled "Someday My Prince Will Come" into a power ballad. Gadot wanted her due, detailing her evil queen prosthetics and voice work. Neither gave an inch. Staff had to pull them apart after 20 minutes, scrapping the 2-hour session. Disney floated a Zegler Burnap only cut, but Bob Iger axed it. Ditching Gadot would scream train wreck louder than the flop itself. The lid was off and the stench was spreading.
What's happened is masculinity has been drained out of Hollywood, and it turns out they needed it. That's what it was built on. Now, it doesn't mean, and so is femininity, which, Snow White is essentially feminism versus femininity.
Rachel Zegler's in deep now. Post-election, November 2024, she posts a scorcher on Instagram. "I hope Trump voters never know peace." Half her followers cheered, the other half unsubscribed. Boycott calls surge. Cancel Rachel trends for days. Disney's livid. She's already a PR headache. Daily Mail leaks claim execs nearly recast her mid-production after her D23 rant, only sticking it out because reshoots cost too much. She doubles down, telling Variety this Snow White is empowerment, not failure, but with the film DOA, she's the fall guy. Hollywood's buzzing. Her Hunger Games prequel buzz from 2023 feels like ancient history. She's talented but toxic, one producer whispers to The Guardian. Has she torched her shot at A-list status? The jury's out, but the clock's ticking. And Gadot's story's a whole different beast.
And sure, you could, yes, it's made in 1937, but it boggles my mind that Disney took the film that built their empire.
Yes.
That it is a paradigm shift movie that is sacred text in Hollywood.
Gal Gadot's not walking away from this Snow White mess with a crown of roses, but she's not drowning in the wreckage either. Her Evil Queen hit screens March 21, 2025, and the reviews weren't kind. Fine but forgettable, Variety yawned, while Rolling Stone sniped, she's a shadow of her Wonder Woman glory. It's not Oscar bait. Her cackle solid, her prosthetics are creepy, but the script gives her nothing meaty. Still, she's Gal freaking Gadot. $1,400,000,000 in DC receipts don't vanish overnight. She's got armor thicker than most, forged from a decade of dodging Hollywood bullets. This flop stings, sure, but she's playing a longer game, and it's one Zegler can only dream of right now. The question is, how much does this dent her kingdom?
And just threw away the original script and gave us, and I'm not kidding, communist propaganda.
Why do you say that?
Snow White.
Fans aren't abandoning ship yet. Her Fast and Furious diehards and Wonder Woman stans flood X post-premiere. Gal's the only reason I watch Queen Energy. One post raves hitting 25,000 likes. A TikTok montage of her mirror scene set to Billie Eilish's Bad Guy pulls 3 million views in days. She's still got pull. Her Instagram steady at 109 million followers, barely a dip despite the film's 47% Rotten Tomatoes thud. But the cracks show Zegler's fans, still salty from that pageant queen Instagram jab in 2024, dig up her 2014 pro-Israel post screaming war criminal in her mentions. She's untouchable till she's not, one ex-troll sneers, racking up retweets. Gadot doesn't flinch. Her team's too slick, pushing a people cover instead. Gal Gadot on family, fitness, and finding peace. No mention of Snow White. Smart move, but the noise isn't fading.
It really does feel like they did massive reshoots during the strike. So they tried to fix some of it, so it's kind of half a fairy tale.
Disney's the real thorn in her side. The promo tour was a slog, solo LA junkets, no Zegler in sight, and a vibe colder than the Queen's dungeon. Insiders tell The Wrap her team's fuming, contracted for joint appearances that never happened thanks to the commentary blow-up. She felt sidelined, a source leaks, hinting at tense calls with execs. Her Elle interview post-release is all grace. I loved diving into the Queen's darkness, but X catches a slip. Collaboration's key when it works. Fans pound shade at Rachel, and the rumor mill spins. Her next DC flick, Wonder Woman 3, is greenlit for 2026, but Disney's another story. Deadline whispers her camp's wary of more Mouse House gigs. Why wade into another PR swamp? She's not burning bridges, but she's not building new ones either.
As the BBC says, Glenn, a Marxist call to arms. Even the BBC called it out for its communist propaganda.
The political heat simmering to that August 2024 trailer drop. Zegler's Free Palestine tweet BS Gadot's silence still echoes. Pro-Palestine accounts on X drag her IDF pass monthly like clockwork. Gal's complicit boycott her. Her 2017 Imagine video, a cringe fest of celebs singing during lockdown, gets memed again, dubbed Tone Deaf 2. She's unfazed or accident. Her latest post, a workout clip captioned "Strength in Stillness," pulls 2 million likes, no politics in sight. Critics like The Guardian call her Teflon Gal. Standals slide off thanks to A-list clout and a PR machine that could spin gold from ash. But Disney's dysfunction tests that. She's too big to fail, an insider tells Variety, but this left a mark. Her core base, moms, fitness buffs, DC loyalists, sticks tight. But the Snow White stink lingers. Here's the kicker, she's not unscathed, just better at dodging. Her rep takes a hit, Bliss untouchable goddess, more a survivor of a shy show. Disney's scrambling with reshoots, but Gadot's out. Her scenes are locked, no recall. Her team's eyeing indie roles next, per The Hollywood Reporter. A pivot from blockbuster chaos. She's got Red Notice 2 on Netflix lined up. A safe bet with Ryan Reynolds to wash this taste away. Still, the Mouse House fallout gnaws. They mishandled her, a producer tells Business Insider, hinting at strained ties. Disney's desperate unified front memo in April 2025 begs stars to play nice, but Gadot's can't stay mum. She'll rise above. Her net worth $30 million, her stars too bright to dim, but this was a close call. And the next storm's always lurking. Here's the gut punch. Snow White isn't just a movie. It's the movie. Walt's 1937 classic that birthed an empire. This remake was supposed to honor that. Instead, it's a laughingstock. Fans ratioed every trailer. YouTube's dislike button would have melted if it still existed. Memes flood X. Snow White, more like Snow Woke. the dwarf fiasco, the CGI flops, the Zegler-Gadot circus. It's a perfect storm. Industry analysts peg losses at $150 million plus, even with streaming. Bob Iger's in a bind. Spin it as misunderstood or bury it on Disney Plus and pray fans forget. The BBC even called the ending a Marxist call to arms, mocking its heavy-handed power to the people twist. Disney's defenders hype the costumes, but the vibe's grim. Did they kill their own princess legacy, or can they rise from these ashes? That's the question haunting Burbank. So where does this leave us? A fairy tale turned fiasco, 2 stars at war, and a studio licking its wounds. Rachel Zegler's fighting to prove she's more than a headline. Gal Gadot's banking on her clout to outlast the noise. Disney, they've got a $270 million lesson in what not to do. Mess with a classic. Cast oil in water and watch it burn. The wildest part, this might not be the end. Rumors hint at more reshoots, a director's cut, or a quiet pivot to the next big thing. What do you think? Could they have saved this beast, or was it cursed from day one? Hit the comments. Did Zegler overplay her hand? Should Gadot have ducked the fight, or is Disney the real villain here? Stick around, Hollywood's got more meltdowns coming, and we'll be here to spill it all.